Before we get started, I do want to say happy Memorial Day to everyone. Hopefully, you guys are going to enjoy the day with your family and just take care of yourselves. And hopefully, you guys are all having a fantastic holiday and have had a fantastic weekend. With that out of the way, I think the best way to start this video is actually by pulling up a tweet. And this is the benefit of waiting until the morning after. And it is a tweet from Kyle Larson. And here is what it says. It says, "What I thought could be one of the best days of my life quickly turned into one of the most disappointing ones I've ever experienced. I hate it for Rick Hendrick, Gordon, HAG, Hendrick Motorsports, and everyone part of the 5 team, everyone on the 17 IndyCar team for speeding, my family, my friends, my fans, and the documentary crew that has followed along for the journey for the past 8 months. So much time, money, and effort went into this experience, and it just kills me to have it end all the way, have it all end the way it did. I feel like I let many people down. We know all along the weather could throw a wrench into things, but seeing it come to reality is a horrible feeling. Up until Sunday, it was truly one of the greatest experiences of my life. I can't describe how appreciative I am of everyone's support of me to live out a dream. I hope it's not the last opportunity I have to try the double, but if it is, I guess it was memorable. Thank you to everyone at Aero McLaren, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and all the competitors there for making me feel welcomed and ready to get back on track and get refocused on winning a second championship for our team." Kyle Larson with a sad, depressed, let down emoji. That really does kind of set the mood for this video. Personally, for me, it has not been a great week. The last 7-8 days has been pretty rough. I was very, very excited for yesterday, and just nope. It just was. It was a big letdown. You start the day off with Monaco. Now, listen. Let's not get ourselves wrong. It's Monaco, okay? The one thing I feel like a lot of us wanted was just to see Charles Leclerc win the Monaco Grand Prix. That is exactly what happened. Everything else, you kind of just forget about it. It's basically. It's known that Formula One probably has to do something with that race. You can't just leave it the way it is. It is just. It's embarrassing to watch drivers go 5 seconds off the pace for over half of the race. Nobody can pass. I think there was one overtake. I think a Bottas overtake in the back of the field is the only overtake that happened in the entirety of the race. So whatever they got to do that Monaco Grand Prix. Listen, the cars are already too big. We know that. But even with smaller cars, I don't know if you could do anything. It is what it is. It's just not a fun race to watch. It's a special race, but it's not close to being fun. So Formula One needs to do something with it. I definitely do not want to see them not go there. I think you need to go to the Monaco Grand Prix. That has to be on the schedule, but they need to do something to make the race a race, because at the moment it's not a race. It's you qualify, hold your track position, and then you just kind of follow each other for the whole race, and that's it. So it's not a race, especially when you have a red flag on lap 1, and now you don't have to do the tire. You don't got to pit for a separate tire, and the strategy's basically done. It was just a very, very bad day. So that's what gets us started. And then you have the massive rain delay at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, I do want to clarify that the race itself was a banger. I watched the Indy 500, and I watch it every year. Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. You know me. I don't really watch IndyCar. I'm not going to tune in week in, week out to watch IndyCar. Personal preference on my part, the open wheel racing, I watch Formula One. With IndyCar, it would mainly be, if I were to tune in, it would be some oval racing. But then deep down in my stomach, a little bit, I just become very uncomfortable with IndyCar oval racing other than Indianapolis. Like the Indy 500 is its own thing, but then I see them maybe going like 230 at Texas or something, and it just makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. So I just prefer not to watch, and maybe that's just deep down scars from what I've seen in the past, but that's just my opinion. That's why I don't really watch IndyCar. But I always watch the Indy 500, and I always think it's an amazing race, and it's an event I do want to go to one day. I want to go to the Indy 500 one day. I don't want to deal with the traffic issues, though. I mean, goddamn, it was 10 p.m. at night, and people were still stuck in the parking lot. So that's very, very depressing. But it's a fantastic race. It was delayed all the way until I think around 4:30 or 5 p.m., which basically left the double for Kyle Larson to not be a double, because the weather at Charlotte was going to move in a little bit later. The race was still scheduled to start. I think it started around 6:30. And so Larson's doing the 500. We're watching the 500. Gets a speeding penalty. I'm not going to be negative on the Indy 500. The Indy 500 was a great race, had a great finish. Congratulations to Joseph Newgarden on winning it. Very big shame for Pato O'Ward. I thought he played his cards correctly. I thought to myself, make the move on the front stretch, come into the white flag, because if you can make that pass clear, get the guy behind you in some dirty air, snake the back straightaway. I think you can make it to the front straightaway with enough time to make it to the line. But those Penske cars are incredibly fast, and Newgarden was able to make the incredible move. So fantastic race. I have nothing against that. That was the highlight of the day. But I really wanted to see the double. That was, what I wanted to see. Larson did extremely well. Had made a mistake early on in the race with missing the shift on a restart, dropped 10 positions, but then basically fought his way back up to a virtual top 5 position until he was speeding with around 50 laps to go, and that kind of ruined his day. But you already knew that he wasn't going to be able to do the double, which was really, really frustrating. We head over to Charlotte. The Coke 600 starts, and I don't know, just everything about it felt a little bit off. I don't know. I don't want to get into politics, but obviously you had former President Donald Trump coming to the racetrack, and that kind of ruined it for people at the track. There's a lot of people on the track saying that, because Trump was on the grid, it was frustrating. And I understand that because I've been on the grid for multiple Daytona 500s. I've been on the grid, and that's usually the most chaotic a pre-race grid can get, and it could get very frustrating because you can't, if you're on the grid, if you have the privilege to be on the grid, you want to see things or do things, and you just can't because there's everyone there. You can't move. It's just like, it's kind of chaotic. And people were describing it as being 100 times worse than a Daytona 500 grid, which I can't even imagine. Obviously, with the former president being there, it just is very annoying for people, to have to try to maneuver it. And then there's also this little sour thing in my mouth that just like, he's obviously just using the sport for his own political gain. And like I said, I'm not going to get into politics. You could believe what you want. Listen, he basically told NASCAR to F off last time. All right, so it is what it is. He's using it for his own political gain. It is his base. I get it. It's whatever. The race goes on, and it's just not a great race. And it's not anything about the on-track action. I thought stage 1 was pretty decent. There was some good racing, but just something about the whole race just felt off. It didn't feel right. And maybe that was because you knew weather was coming in or something like that. I was watching the race, and it just didn't feel all that great. And, Kyle Larson's flying in. Weather's on the way. It's a 400-lap race, so it's a very long race in general. And then the rain comes. And it's like supposed to be like a quick storm. Hour and a half. That's not quick, but it happens, and you're thinking, okay, maybe NASCAR can get it back going after the storm. Storm stops. NASCAR apparently sends out jet dryers. Now here's where things really turn to worse. And this video is probably not going to talk a lot about the race, guys. If you want to talk about the race, there's not really much to talk about. We want to say congratulations to Christopher Bell, obviously, for winning the Coke 600. Great job for him. But everything about today and tonight in this race did not feel that great. And, it's very unfortunate because there are conflicting reports from people at the track and what NASCAR is saying. So the rain stops, and NASCAR says they send out jet dryers to go clean the racetrack, whether it be the Titans, whether it be jet dryers, whatever. Then you have people at the racetrack, multiple people on Twitter at the racetrack with photo proof showcasing that NASCAR did not send out jet dryers, or if they did, they sent out 1 or 2 to probably take a look at the track. They didn't actually send out the Air Titans. They didn't really send out the fleet of jet dryers to try and dry the track. Now, I can't really remember the exact time frame. I think they called the race around 11:45, 11:50, somewhere around there is when they called the race. But the rain and everything kind of stopped around, I would guess, around 10:45, somewhere around there is when they were trying to dry the track. There was 150 laps to go, 140 laps to go around that area. So if you get back going around 12:30, you can finish the race probably around 2 a.m. We've seen NASCAR races finish at 2 a.m. There was a Daytona race not that long ago that finished at 2 a.m. I think. I still remember the 2004 Pepsi 400 starting past 10 a.m. and racing well into past 1 a.m. NASCAR basically, according to people at the track, is that NASCAR called fans back to the grandstands. Like, there was an announcement from the racetrack, and obviously it's from the racetrack. It's also from NASCAR. They're working together. They called people back to the grandstands, and that driver, and then there's teams and drivers saying that they got a note or a call from NASCAR saying that they're about to call the drivers to their cars in 15 minutes. This was 15 minutes before, or like right before they actually called the race. So there's a bunch of conflicting reports. Are they drying the track? Are fans like expecting a race? And while we're sitting for the rain delay, I'll be honest, I'm expecting the race to get back going because the rain goes, it's dry, there's no rain. They have the air titans and everything, and then they call the race, and everyone was really kind of annoyed. At first, I put out a tweet saying, they tried, it happens, I don't think NASCAR was trolling you. It was then 30 minutes later as I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm waiting for the information to come in, and it just sounds like one giant mess. Like, there are people saying that they didn't dry the track. There are people saying that they did dry the track. There are people saying that this wasn't NASCAR's call, it was Fox. Fox, because it was on local Fox, they maybe didn't want to move it to FS1, or they didn't want to continue past a certain time, whatever. A lot of weird things. Obviously, this is NASCAR's home, Charlotte Motor Speedway. A lot of the teams, and crew members and everyone, they live in Charlotte, so it's not like they have to travel. The following day is a holiday. It's an off day for everyone, so it makes sense that you can race, let's say to the latest 2 a.m. If NASCAR's reasoning was that they wouldn't be able to get the race get going until 1 a.m. and then it would finish at 2:30 in the morning. That's fine. I mean, again, it's not like you're in Phoenix. It's not like you're in, Chicago or California. You don't have to travel. You have an off day tomorrow and you are in Charlotte. So you want to see if you can get the race going no matter, at all costs. That's what it is NASCAR's obligation to do. It didn't feel like they did that. It felt like there was some sort of outside factor, whether it be Fox, whether it be something, I don't know what it was, that they didn't want to continue this race. And the biggest worry is the people at the racetrack. If you were at the racetrack, you can let me know in the comments down below. The people at the racetrack saying that they weren't genuinely trying to dry the track. If there were not Air Titans out there, if there were not jet dryers out there when it wasn't raining, then that is very worrying. NASCAR's not excuse, but their reasoning was that the air was too humid to dry the track. So basically what they're saying is like, when I've lived in South Florida my whole life, I've lived in 100% humidity. I understand it. The air is very thick and moist, and that moisture gets into the racetrack, and that you just genuinely cannot dry the track, especially when it's like midnight, somewhere around there. That there is some, truth to that, yes. But like I said, there are a lot of people there that are saying it was dry and that are saying that they could race. So if there is multiple people at the racetrack that are saying that they could race, and multiple drivers even assuming, like, they're putting their suit back on and they're about to get out of their motorhomes and go walk to their cars, teams are getting ready assuming that they're going to go back racing, and then NASCAR just calls it doesn't really make any sense, and it's just a really depressing and confusing way to end a race. So that is how the race ends, and it's just a bunch of controversy. Yeah, it's just really, really unfortunate. And so that kind of just tops off, as we said, Larson's tweet at the beginning, it tops off a really kind of just disappointing day. I want to say depressing, but, I don't know. It was a very, very unfortunate circumstance for everyone. And just really sad. Like, I'm being a little bit selfish here. I was too young, to want to see Tony Stewart do the double. I wanted to really see Kyle Larson do the double. This is the one guy that I want to see him do the double, because I think he is the most talented driver in NASCAR. I've said that for a very long time. We all kind of know that, and I really do hope they can try again next year. The only problem is, like he said, there's just so much that goes into it. There's so much sacrifice. There's so much money. There's so much different factors that have to go into this for this to even be possible, and for it to, basically all go down the drain because of weather. And you run that risk, but like, for it to affect both races is so unlikely for that to happen, that it is just truly depressing to see that happen. Larson obviously comes to the racetrack, and he's not even able to get into the car. Like, he's putting on his helmet, he's getting ready to go, but with the red flag and the rain, he doesn't even get into the car, and he's not able to compete for that race. And now there's another, like, this is what I mean with all the depressing stuff, is that there's another debate with NASCAR fans and stuff about this waiver, and there's just negativity all over the place. Like, oh, should we give Kyle Larson a waiver? And listen, guys, championships don't matter anyways. Just give him the damn waiver. It's fine. We gave Chase Elliott a waiver for having a snowboarding accident or something. We gave Kyle Busch a waiver for breaking his leg and missing 3 months, and then he ends up winning the championship. It doesn't matter. Just don't argue about it. Give the guy a waiver. He was trying to do something that we all want to see him do. Like, don't be such a negative prick and just say, like, oh, Kyle Larson can't race for a championship because he willingly missed a race. It was his decision. Like, we all wanted to see him do the double. Like, stop being a prick with motorsport and, like, trying to safeguard whatever your belief is. Like, oh, he shouldn't be able to compete for a championship. Just let him compete for the damn championship. It doesn't matter anyways. The championship decided in one race. It doesn't matter that he missed a race in Charlotte in May. It doesn't matter. He's going to compete for the race anyways for the championship because it is determined in one race amongst 4 drivers. So it doesn't matter. Just let him compete. But all of this, the Monaco race in the morning, which was just disgusting, the long delay into the Indy 500, which then delays obviously Larson's attempt, and now he's not able to do the double anymore, and then another weather delay that cuts the Coke 600 short by 150 laps, and then NASCAR, with whatever we think they decided to do, cutting the race short, whether it be intentional, whether it be because of Fox's decision, but when they could have definitely gotten back going. Yes, it would have been late, but who cares? It's a holiday. No, everyone's off the next day. It's fine. You're at home. It makes sense to try to get the race in for the fans. You kept the fans around. The racetrack even told on the speaker said the fans can come back into the grandstands, only to then send them home, waiting 2 hours later. It's just, everything is just leaving a really disgusting and depressing and sour taste in my mouth. And it was truly one of the just most depressing days. Like, genuinely, like, it just was really sad. And like I said, it has nothing to do with the actual on-track product. I want to make that very clear. It's not like the car was wrong or the track. The track was great, and Charlotte's a fun racetrack, and this car does well at 1.5 miles. So it's just everything around it was just really depressing. That's like the best way I could say it. I'm gonna let you guys go. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your holiday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the day. Follow me on Twitter. If you haven't already, subscribe for new. And hopefully you guys can enjoy your day. And yeah, just a really unfortunate, yesterday really should be one of the best days in motorsport. It always is every year. And yeah, I don't think it gets much worse than what yesterday was. It was definitely not very fun. So take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Spend time with your family. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.